I think it's pretty safe to say that when we examine the Star Wars sequel trilogy, there's a lot of Star Wars fans out there that have had issues with The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and exactly how Disney and Lucasfilm treated these three new Star Wars movies that really concluded the Skywalker saga. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that this movie was a big deal for Disney and Lucasfilm. It was very much a tough production for Kathleen Kennedy, J.J. Abrams, and everybody else on board for the Star Wars movie. And now moving on into the future of the franchise, a lot of fans have been very worried with exactly what Disney and Lucasfilm will be doing with this new Star Wars trilogy, these new Star Wars movies that will be released throughout the 2020s, which this decade, by the way, is going to be very important for Star Wars, not just for theatrical releases, but also for Disney Plus, for live action and animated TV series. Now, on top of all of this, Disney and Lucasfilm, they have a plan in place for their new Star Wars universe. They want to model this after the MCU, which I honestly think is a risk, because at the end of the day, when you think about it, Star Wars really isn't Marvel at all in any way, shape, or form, and kind of modeling it after the MCU could very well be a big risk if not done correctly by Disney. So hopefully they get this down correctly, because all the books, the novels, the comics, the movies, and the TV shows are all going to interconnect with each other starting this March, which is when the new EU is really going to start. So, with that being said, what's rather intriguing about this new trilogy is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are focused on the future of the Star Wars franchise, many fans have been worried about what Disney and Lucasfilm plan to do with the new Star Wars trilogy of films that they are currently planning right now for the Star Wars community. Now, it's noted that both Disney and Lucasfilm are currently developing the new Star Wars trilogy of films that are actually said to focus on thousands of Jedi, and that they are looking to film the first film of the new trilogy in countries like Germany, Italy, and even Greece to give a different feel and look to the Star Wars universe. Now, it's said that they are looking to use many of George Lucas's original ideas for this new trilogy of films to create a new Star Wars universe that will feel different to the fans, and that they will also be using both Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau for these new movies to support the writing of the scripts and to implement as much Star Wars Legends material as possible that they can in order to give fans a unique feel. Now, not just that, but the new trilogy is also explained to reveal new truths about the Skywalker bloodline, and that this is going to be Disney's way of loosely connecting the film to the Skywalker saga. Now, it's noted that they plan to explore who the first Skywalker was in Legends, where in this new trilogy, as well as the mystery of the Wills and how that will all be demystified in the new Star Wars movies. Now, it's explained that Disney has a vision to explore many ancient Jedi and Sith temples for the new trilogy, and how the Jedi books in Episode 8 and 9 will tie directly into these new films for the franchise. So, the thing that's really surprising to me, at least, is the fact that Disney and Lucasfilm are going to find ways to loosely connect these movies to the Skywalker saga. Now, given the fact here that it's not going to continue the saga, it's going to be loosely connected to those movies. And what I mean by that is that they will be having some Easter eggs, or they're going to have some ties to the Skywalker bloodline. So we've actually been talking about this thing called the First Skywalker, which was going to be a thing in The Rise of Skywalker that was completely disregarded, and how they want to use that in the upcoming new Star Wars movies as a way to loosely connect it to the bloodline of the Skywalker legacy, or at the very least, the legend of the actual name Skywalker itself. Now, not just that, the thing that really stands out to me a lot here is how the Jedi books are actually said to play a major role in these new Star Wars movies to come in just a couple of years from now. That's really going to give fans a different feel of the franchise, and how it's going to tie directly into The Last Jedi and, of course, The Rise of Skywalker. So you can see how they're tying into the Skywalker saga, specifically the sequel trilogy of films, and how Disney is, of course, trying to find a clever way of tying directly, into the sequel trilogy movies. Those Jedi books that we saw inside of the Tree Library, very ancient, if you will, are going to play a major role in these new Star Wars films. Now, you guys may recall that David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, their initial treatment of these new movies were going to explore the origins of the Jedi. A lot of that was pretty much disregarded as well when they were either let go by Kathleen Kennedy or just stepped down, voluntarily because of creative differences. Now, when we look at everything and the fact that Kathleen Kennedy here, she's no longer going to have creative control over these new movies, it's one of the main reasons as to why I think a lot of fans have hope for the future of the Star Wars franchise, and how Kevin Feige is now involved in trying to get Keanu Reeves on board, and Jennifer Connelly, Anthony Hopkins, and more, all these A-list actors to come on board for a new Star Wars film, I think really is the main highlight of these new Star Wars movies. It really is. Not just that, but proper storytelling and how Kathleen Kennedy is not going to have creative input on these new movies. So, with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.